Welcome to another episode of the Big DK Energy Podcast. My name is Danny Carenter, or DK, and I'll be your host today. And for today's episode, the guest who's vibing to no music on the other side is a childcare advocate with a very soft spot for individuals with unique abilities. And on top of being a Kanye and Jags fan to the death, she's also one of the funniest people I know. Everybody, ladies and germs, please put your fins together for Erin Murphy.
Woohoo! Yay! Hi. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Welcome to the show.
I feel so honored to be here. I literally was so excited when I found out you were doing a podcast. It's so funny because when he reached out, I was like, I really hope he's going to ask me to be on his podcast. And then he did. And I was like, my dreams are made. I'm happy. Happy as a clam.
Nice.
We're talking about putting your fins up. Put your clams together.
Great.
So thanks for having me. Let's get rocking and rolling.
Of course. I was scrolling through and I was thinking, who would be an interesting guest to have on the podcast? And then I just remembered all of the things that we used to talk about back in college. And then I realized, of course, I had to have you.
I really appreciate that. Like, it feels good to be, like, thought of, you know? Like, you know when someone randomly reaches out and is like, oh my gosh, I just saw this and it made me think of you?
Oh,
that's,
of
like,
course,
how
yeah.
it felt, you know? I felt so special. So thank you. You've been giving me compliments, and now it's my turn.
I appreciate you very much, Miss Murphy.
Yes, sir.
Let's get right into it. So you are a child care coach, correct?
Yeah. So right now, I work for a nonprofit organization. So that's like the basics of it. So this isn't like a thing I do on my own. But I have centers, childcare centers that I go in and I work with the teachers and I kind of observe their classrooms and kind of see where they're at with everything. How are you doing with behavior management? Are the kids struggling a little bit? Where are your areas of struggle? And then we target it and we're like, okay, what can we do to make it easier on you pretty much? Kids can be hard and like kids are all so different. So I kind of just bring in like an outside perspective of the basis of it is like observation. I'll usually go in a few times and just like watch and see what's going on. And then from there, I kind of just talk with the teacher and figure out what we need to do differently. So the other part of my job, other than just a coaching piece and like working with the teachers in the classroom, I also do like trainings with teachers. So I do like a class with them on interactions and how you can have better interactions or more appropriate interactions that are actually targeting their development into functioning humans in society one day.
That's awesome.
It's great.
That's really fulfilling work, I bet.
It is so fulfilling, and it's such a good like perspective shift because I work all over Orlando, so I get to see a lot of different communities from the east side, and then I'm in Pine Hills sometimes, I'm in Paramore, I'm downtown, all over the place. So I get to see like the city and the family cultures in the city, so it's really interesting. It's just kind of given me like a perspective of it's great to work with the teachers because you get to be direct with the change. I actually get to see the changes happening, that the things that I know, if they do this, if they like make this change, it'll impact the children in this positive way. So it's like you see the direct effect of your work. So it's really nice.
I bet.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Especially working with adults. Like it's so nice to see other adults thriving and like reaching their goals because the coaching method that we use is based off of a coach asking the teacher, what do you see? And why do you think that what you're seeing is giving you this effect? If you're not giving the kids clear instructions before you start an activity, then you might ask yourself, well, I can't get them to do what I want them to do. And it's like, well, you have to think about if you're telling them what you want them to do. So just kind of getting them to think, it's almost like therapy. It's like you're getting them to think deeper and like look and reflect on what they do and why they do it and what they could do to do better next time.
You deal with adults then. Do you ever work one-on-one with any of the children?
I do sometimes, yeah. So I have a few centers who I work with a lot more than others, and I'll go there like once a week and I'll stay for a few hours. So a lot of times like I'll be in the classroom modeling for the teachers. So it's like it's funny because when a kid asks me like, oh, what do you do? I am the person who helps your teacher with what they need to do too. Sometimes I do get to work with the kids, which is really fun. That's like my favorite part of the job. It's hard because I obviously am not their teacher, but I have a few centers that I work in regularly and the kids are like my babies. They know me. Whenever I come up and ring the doorbell, I hear all the kids on the other side, Miss Erin! And it is the cutest thing. And I come in and they all get up and try to give me a hug and it's like COVID. I'm like, I have my mask on. It was so funny. The other day we were out on the playground and they were all standing against the wall. They were doing an obstacle course. So their teacher was on the other side and I was standing with them on this side, like getting them ready. Mm-hmm. And the kids, I had my mask like pulled like over covering my face and they like were saying something about my nose. And so I pulled it down. They've never seen my face before. And they were like, oh my gosh, like I can see your nose. And I was like, oh, like you haven't seen what I look like. Let me take my mask off. And they're like, oh, Miss Erin. I'm like, what? And these are 4-year-olds. It's so funny. But that's what I like about working with kids. Like, they're so hysterical. Like, asking me why I have freckles on my arm. Like, they don't even know what freckles are. They're like, what is this? Like, why do you have these? I'm like, oh, kids, sun damage. That's why.
Wait, is it really sun damage? I thought
probably.
I thought it was something hereditary.
I mean, it probably is hereditary, but I think they darken when you have, like, exposure to the sun.
Got it.
So it's like a little bit of both.
Listen, I'm not a rocket scientist. So.
I'm not either. I'm literally taking a complete guess. So please, someone fact check me, please.
You told me that you're an advocate for kids with unique abilities. What constitutes those unique abilities?
Really anything. I mean, you could consider a gifted child to have unique abilities. But it's any child who really needs like some sort of differentiated approach to learning, I'd say. Like if you're in the classroom with a child who has ADHD, they're not going to be able to have the attention span with an activity like the other children in the class. That's just not how it's going to work. But that doesn't mean you need to take the kid out of the classroom.
Yeah.
It means that you bring someone else in who can work with the child, maybe one-on-one to give reminders. Or in my case, a lot of times these teachers can be doing things on their own, but their immediate thought is, oh, red flag, let's bring in an inclusion specialist to come get this child checked out. And that's when you kind of have to take a step back and say, okay, maybe there's a possibility that there could be a delay here, but let's think about it in terms of, are there other outside forces that could be contributing to the way that this kid is acting? And the answer is typically yes. Maybe the teacher, like I was saying, behavior expectations, if they're not set, then the children are not going to know what's expected. And I'm talking in the younger ages. Like,
of course.
I work with 0 to 4s. So this was specifically happening in a toddler room where toddlers have the attention span of like a fly because they follow whatever's interesting or going on. And so when I talk to a teacher about like young children, you don't want to jump to a conclusion of they need intervention services, because a lot of the time it's things that if you target it when they're very young and you start working on things when they're very young, you can see that those changes happening in kindergarten, first grade. And that's kind of like the base of my work is like improving the interactions that teachers have with children. And this can go up to any age group. I mean, like people have favorite teachers from high school. I do. It's like you can be an older person dealing with older kids and still connect with them, but it depends on the interactions you're having. If you're having only negative interactions with a kid where you're telling them no or stop, you're not building a relationship like at all. But if you're having positive interactions and then there's an occasional slip up where you might get frustrated, the kids understand that, you know? It's a totally different ball game when you're building a relationship with a child versus just like teaching. So they're two different things. Like the interaction piece is a little bit of everything. I actually work with a specific tool that targets all of these things that I've just described. Yeah.
When it comes to that kind of stuff, I realize that communication is quite literally one of the most important things.
It is.
Especially for building relationships.
It is, totally.
I was diagnosed with autism back in middle school.
Okay.
And so, or ASD, autism spectrum disorder, which was then at the time called Asperger's.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when I was diagnosed, there wasn't as much knowledge as there is today about it. So the thing is that back then it was a little bit more stigmatized, and I feel like
absolutely.
And I think what you're doing is fantastic, because if there were more people like you, like when I was in school, I feel like it would have been a lot more smoother.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you, I never really advertised it unless it was necessary.
Right. You didn't bring it up.
Correct. And so like I had a bit of it. I guess it was a bit of an ego problem that I didn't want to like, tell people.
Stigmatize yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I never decided to get any accommodations for that kind of stuff, because I was like,
interesting.
I don't need it.
That's great though. And I was diagnosed with ADHD, and for a long time I was taking medication for it.
Like Prozac and whatnot?
I was taking like Vyvanse.
Oh, I actually took that as well.
Yeah, and for a while I was like fine with it. I didn't care. And then when I got to college and I started taking these education courses around behavior management and planning and like really having to sort out your life to fit the needs of children, that's when I finally realized, oh my gosh, like my problem isn't that, I mean, I obviously I did have ADHD. That was the root of the issue, was that I couldn't focus. But there's so many other ways that you can get yourself to focus than by self-medicating. And I wasn't self-medicating. It was prescribed. But by taking the medication, I was like, I don't need to do this. I just need to get a billion notepads and pens I really like and write out my entire life. And that's what worked for me. But it's not one size fits all. Like, some people need to have medication or accommodations or an IEP or like some sort of plan for them to get what they need. But if you don't need it, that's awesome. Like, that's great. You can do it yourself. Like, you know what works for you.
Nice.
Nice.
Sweet. Of course. I just love how passionate you are of all this.
It's just my life, you know? I like live it. It's nice being able to talk about it too.
Absolutely, and it's
fun.
especially since there are still a lot of people that don't even know what autism is. And they think it's a bad thing, and I'm just like, well, I'll go screw myself over here.
You're like, you just think that this is made up?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't believe me?
Yeah.
Sometimes people are like that, but honestly, I feel like people like you prove people wrong about like what they think they know, like autism looks like, because like, look at you, like you've got your own place, you're independent AF, like you have your podcast, like you're a freelancer, like you're doing shit.
Yeah, I'm trying, but I appreciate it.
And you have autism, you know? That's not the first thing you have to say.
Correct.
It's like but I also have autism, like, and
Correct.
you didn't even know.
That's right.
That's like that's pretty cool.
Oh, well, that was very nice. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I told you, pushing the compliments back. I didn't want to give them right away, but here they come.
So, giving compliments back, I just feel like a lot of people are, it's like, I appreciate that people try to take the humble approach, but then,
right.
At some point, people just kind of freeze up and they're just like, what do I do? Do I just keep saying thank you?
Right.
They won't stop sometimes.
Yeah, it's just like, let me keep going. Let me not stop.
Yeah.
But now I want to say Sharon says so. I can't believe you don't know who this is.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm so upset. So she's like America's government teacher. Like, she is literally the best person probably in our country right now. She is like everything that everyone would need. A little bit of Sharon. And she does these horrible clothing box subscription try-ons, which is incredible. She's like literally like 40 something probably. And she has children, and
it's
she's
funny.
from Minnesota.
I don't think anybody our age is named Sharon. I can't think of one. There's got to be one.
I know someone named Shannon.
Well, yeah, Shannon's a little bit more common.
I had an old teacher named Sharon. I loved her. She's a great teacher. I'm actually friends with her on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, she's awesome.
That's awesome. There was this woman named Sharon who yelled at me when I worked at the acai bowl place.
Really?
Yeah.
Was she a customer?
She was a customer. So essentially, me being half Korean, I visually stick out from all of my coworkers.
Okay.
And so my coworker who wasn't wearing a mask at the register and took her order, she didn't complain about that. But when I gave her food to her, she asked me specifically, "Hey, where's your mask?" And I go, "We haven't had masks for a while, ma'am." She goes, "The cases are rising." And then she snatched the bag out of my hand, and then she goes, "Don't breathe on my food," and then just ran out of the store.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I can't believe she did that to you. That's kind of messed up. Like,
I thought it was funny.
I mean, maybe she didn't mean it in like that kind of way. Maybe she was just fed up after the first person, and she was like, I'm going to yell at this guy.
No, they had a very civil interaction. I saw it.
That ain't good. That's not a good look, Sharon.
Precisely. I kid you not, working at an acai bowl place, a third of the female customers were named Karen.
Okay, yeah. That is Will's mother's name.
Is it now?
My mother-in-law is a Karen.
Oh.
But that's fine. She's great. Love her.
I actually do have a cousin named Karen.
Really?
Yeah. So, you said you studied about education in school, right? So you've been passionate about this for a while now. When did it all start for you?
Yeah. Okay, that's a good question. So it started back when I was in high school. I think it was my sophomore year. I was 16. I had just got my license. So I don't know. It was like either sophomore. I think it was sophomore year.
You could have been a freshman who's been held back. I'm just kidding.
I wasn't though. I'm just born in July.
Got it.
Yeah.
After the cutoff, right?
Yeah. So, well, I'm like young for my grade.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
Well,
perfect.
actually, no.
So you get it.
Oh, actually, I'm old for my grade because I was.
Mess that up.
No.
Okay, I just hit it. Just making sure. Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, I was born after the cutoff.
Okay.
November. So
yeah.
late.
Wait, so you're young too?
No, sorry.
You're old.
Yeah, I'm old for my grade.
Okay, yeah, I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Youngin.
I was in that time of my life. I was like around 16 years old. And at the time, I had to get a job. And my brother worked at Subway at the truck stop when you get off on exit like 329 headed north on 95. And I like how I just described that. Like, I'm so directionally challenged, just so you know. That was impressive. If anyone is listening to this who knows me, you're welcome. That was, like, so good.
I'll send it to your mom.
Literally, like, that's good. When I got in my car accident, they're like, where are you? I'm like, I'm on I-4. I'm like, I'm not on I-4. I don't know where I am. I'm like, I'm on a ramp to get onto I-4. And she's like, no, you're not. I'm like, I don't know where I am. Anyways, they found me.
That's good.
Okay, so when it all started. So I'm 16 working at the Subway at the truck stop by my house. And my brother worked there, so my parents were like, you'll be fine, like, you'll work with him, like, it's not going to be weird. Plot twist. Guess what? It was freaking weird. Old men always, it was so creepy, it was horrible, just truck drivers, and then there were, like, people, they call them lizard lots, and they're, like, people who are, like, hookers, I guess.
Oh.
But they stay in truck stops and, like, hook up with, like, the truck drivers. It's, like, a whole situation.
It's like their own little economy.
Yeah. I mean, I worked with like a lot of different people there, and I think that was the first time I realized like the world is filled with so many different kinds of people, and it's so
Just
cool.
go to New York.
But it's great because it's like I feel like every time you meet someone who's different and you have a positive experience, or someone who's not like someone you know, like just someone who's just a different like type of person, and you get to know them a little like through work, you always meet like you become friends with like, you know, 50-year-old people. And you're like, I would never be friends with you in the real world, but here we are, now we're great friends. Like, it's just so interesting. So, like, still, although it was a negative experience and negative time most of the time, I met a lot of really cool people from working there. So, I'll give it, like, a 4 out of 10.
Awesome.
For the crowd, for the atmosphere.
Awesome. So, did you work with someone who...
Oh, no. Okay, yeah. Okay, so, to get back to that. Okay, so, while I was working at Subway, my mom was working at a child care center. It wasn't very far up the road, like up the highway. And she had a child who she had in her infant classroom who had Down syndrome. And his name was Devin. I think I can say that. I don't think his mom would care. She knows that I've like used him in presentations.
I mean, as long as you don't use the last name, I think you should be good.
Yeah, there's like a billion kids named Devin, I'm sure.
Okay, exactly.
So I met his mom. She came over. She brought him over. He was like 2 at the time, I think. He might have even been a little bit younger than that. I'm not sure. And she needed a nanny. And I was like, I would love to. Like, that sounds fun. And I met him and he was cute. I've always loved kids, like, my whole life. I've, like, always wanted to be a mom. Like, that's, like, the biggest thing. And I never wanted to be a teacher because I was like, I'm never going to make any money. Well, plot twist, I'm still never going to make any money unless I start my own business. That's, like, the only way to make money in childcare. It's unfortunate, but...
Or in anything, really, nowadays.
Literally. That's some facts. So yeah, I like told her, yeah, I'm available for weekends. So I was nannying him every weekend while I was in high school from my sophomore year until I left for college. And Devin was like my favorite person. I still love him. I just never get to see him anymore. And he's older now. So it's a little bit different because I don't think he remembers me, obviously, because it's been a while. But, yeah, so I just loved him. I thought he was the sweetest thing. He was such an easy baby, but he was so sweet and caring, but he was so funny, and he had so much personality. He loved the song Sangria. Lips taste like sangria.
By Blake Shelton, right?
Yeah, I love that song. And then Drunk on a Plane. He loved that song, too.
Who sings that?
I'm getting drunk, buying drugs, reminding of the pilot. It's a party at the 737, rocking like a G6. I don't know. I'm getting drunk on a plane. I don't know.
That's such a mood.
But I just sang it for you. I told you how you can quote shows and movies.
Yeah.
I can do that with songs.
Nice.
But only sometimes, like it just depends. Okay, let me finish the story about how I got started in this. Like, this is the longest, most. Now I know why it's an hour long. Okay, so with Devin, yeah, was babysitting him, nannying him, whatever you want to call it, for a long time. And when I went to college, I was like, I miss this so much. Like, I need to be doing this again. This was so much fun. And at that time, I was weightlifting, and I was like, well, maybe I'll coach. Like, maybe I'll be a weightlifting coach, like, for young kids. That would be kind of fun. But then I just dwindled.
Have them squatting like 225.
Well, at the gym that I was training at, they had, like, a kids gym, and they were insane. They were so good.
Really?
Yeah, I was impressed. I was like, wow. And that's when I realized kids are so capable. Like, holy cow. So once I got to UCF and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, at that time I really had no clue. And I was like, maybe I'll do... There's a plane. It's distracting me. Hang on, I have to wait. Okay. I was like, maybe I'll do communications. Like, maybe I'll do journalism, like broadcast journalism, and like be on news stations or something. Well, that was very short-lived, and I obviously changed my mind about that very quickly. Someone actually told me he did follow through with it, and he's like a legit newscaster now, which is so funny. He was like, yeah, it's a super competitive program, and I was like, I have no desire to compete, so I'm out. Like, this is not something that I want to compete in. But throughout all of that, I knew I wanted to like work with kids or work with people with Down syndrome or really any just kids. Like, just in general, I wanted to work with kids. And if I could do something specialized towards Down syndrome, that'd be great. So once I kind of realized that was like my path, I switched my major to early childhood education and development. That's like the title of my degree. And while I was in the program, I had this really great class. It was about young children with special needs, and we had to pick a target child who we worked with for the semester. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I can do this how I want to do it and like not have to be a teacher, but still own my own business and do my own kind of thing. So I was like, I'm in the right place right now. Like, this is what I want to do. Like, I feel good about it. And then after that project, like I went on and finished my degree, and I ended up in a practicum, like an end of the year, whatever, before graduation, where you have to do like a internship.
There we go.
Internship. Okay. Yeah. So it's like when you have your internship kind of, and I got placed at the place that I work now. So that's when I kind of got introduced to how I could put like my passions into an actual career. And now I've just seen like a whole other world that I like didn't even know existed within childcare, and how much more powerful, I guess, it is than what it seems to everyone else.
That's amazing. I'm so happy for you to hear that, because
it all comes full circle.
It really does. And with that, it just seems that you've somehow cracked some kind of code that people are trying to still figure out to this day. I mean, whether it's 4, 14, or 40, putting your passions into something that you do every day is the end goal for a lot of people, or at least I assume.
Right.
And I'm just so glad. And also with you, it's just benefiting other people.
Right.
Giving back to the community. And I just find that a beautiful thing.
I appreciate that. It is really nice. And it is like, it's silly. People are like, oh, so humble. But like, it does feel good to do a job that you're making a difference. Yeah. Like, Will asked me a question the other day. He was like, someone texted this to him and was like, tell me something that you do every day in your life that gives back to others. And I said, that's easy. I'm like a teacher. I give back every single day to our community by helping to make these child care centers better for the kids so that they can grow up and have a better start to their lives than the people who are grown up now who had miserable starts to their lives, or who are in poverty, or who didn't have a parent to take care of them, and they like didn't always know who they were going to rely on. Like, that's what I want to do, Mm-hmm. And so now where I'm at is like, I want to open my own business so that I can do this how I know it benefits kids and do it correctly. Because although I have had like a lot of great relationships and had a lot of breakthroughs, there are unfortunately places that aren't the highest quality, and they still have a lot of kids who are in their care, and those kids aren't receiving the high quality care that I know that they deserve and that they need. Truthfully, they need it to have a strong foundation when they get older in life. So it's not just oh, how nice would it be if we had high quality education? It's like, no, like, we need this. They need it. Everyone needs it. And depending on like where you grow up, that's like a huge factor in the kind of education you receive. So it's important that it's like everywhere. That high quality is everywhere. And I want to be the bitch to do it.
I love that.
It's me, baby. It's me. I'm here.
I appreciate that. Especially, you know what? Snaps to that. Full snaps. All right.
Yeehaw.
Excellent. All right. Well, we're just going to take a little short break.
Let's do it.
Then we're going to talk a little bit about what Brenda here is a fan of.
Sweet.
Oh, and speaking of that, we're going to talk about that coming up. So stick around. Welcome back.
Thank you. We've been here this whole time. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Thank you.
Welcome you guys back. We've been here.
Sure, what she said.
Well, what? Are we pretending that we didn't go anywhere?
I mean, you went to the bathroom, right?
Yeah, I went to the bathroom. I had a couple chicken nuggets.
Hopefully not at the same time.
No, not at the same time.
Okay, good.
It was not simultaneous.
I was about to say that would make you'd be really hungry from that.
Yeah.
Besides being one of the best people that you'll ever meet.
Wow.
Listen, that was very powerful, that first section.
I really appreciate that. I can't believe that was as long as it was of a conversation. It felt short to me.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good sign, I think.
Positive.
Correct. But besides being an angel who's doing God's work, she is a super fan of Kanye West.
But I don't feel like a super fan, but I am in his top 1%. Danny and I both are on Spotify, which now I'm wondering if it's like even that challenging to do. I mean, 1% is like, I guess that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like we listen to Kanye West more than 99% of
the world.
That's crazy. Wow. We're fans.
Yeah, you'd need to be listening to Kanye at least once per day to get there, I believe.
Well, for a long period of time, I was only listening to Kanye when I would work out. So it's like an hour every day of just, this is Kanye West Spotify playlist. So that's why I got so committed. But you know what really, really pissed me off?
What?
After I got my dog, who is also named Kanye, once I got my dog Kanye, I started playing him calming jazz when we would leave the home so that he could be zen.
Yeah.
And now my number one everything is jazz and classical, and like calming music for dogs is like my number one most played song on Spotify because it's on every single time we leave the house. So I switched it up and I started using Pandora so that my stats wouldn't be off this year.
Okay. Awesome.
I'm so committed to this, like Kanye West number one, like 1%er.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I am finally 1% of something. Like that's powerful.
That's a good 1%.
Exactly.
Not like the top percent. Not like the top 1% of like people who
have money. I would take that.
Oh no! I was going in a different direction. Like
okay, good.
I was gonna say people who are in the top 1% of like cocaine users.
Oh yeah, I'm not in that.
Yeah, exactly.
But if I were, then I'd appreciate you inviting me on your podcast still.
Yeah, if anything, if you were in the top 1% of cocaine users, I'd be like, I don't know, man. I'd be just like impressed.
It would be an intervention.
And also being impressed, but then also, what would be a way to describe it?
You'd be a little bit concerned, probably, just a wee bit.
Yeah, just a wee bit.
Just a tad.
Yeah, but tying in, that's saying that it's another 1% that you really don't want to be in.
Yeah, I'm like really, that's something I'm proud of. But what I was talking about was how like you described me as a super fan, right?
Wait a minute. No, it is something that you do want to be part of. Sorry, I just realized I said it's a 1% you didn't want to be a part of. I'm
not a super fan because this is my dilemma.
You named your dog after Kanye.
Can I elaborate on that for the fans?
I mean, what's to elaborate on?
There's a story.
Oh, is there now?
There's a story. So back before we got our dog, Kanye, our mini dachshund. Yeah, I just love him. We were discussing names, and we said that we wanted to get 2 of them. So we were having to
Getting
pick
2 names?
2 dachshunds.
Oh, never mind.
So we wanted to get a boy and a girl. And we were thinking of names that were like couple names, but different couple names, not like stupid names like Bonnie and Clyde. Like who the F does that? Like I'm not lame. I mean, if you do that, that's fine, but like that's not me. So that was not going to happen.
I think that's pretty lame.
I like other pairings that are more creative and more like I'm not a creative, but like I'm a creative, like I'm not a creative, like I don't do anything artsy, but like I have a creative mind. I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm always thinking. Okay. Anyways, so we had to think of a part of pair names, and this was like a few years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, like when the Jersey Shore Family Vacation show was coming out, and Jersey Shore was like coming back, like it was trendy to be like doing Jersey Shore stuff, like Pi-Fi. We did that fam Jersey Shore themed thing. So at that time, I was like, let's name our dogs Ronnie and Sammy. So that was our game plan. Years passed. We finally are like ready to get the dog. And at that time, Kim and Kanye were like hot shit. So I was like, Will, should we name our dogs Kim and Kanye? And he's like, yeah. So we got our dog, but we didn't know if we were getting a boy or a girl. We were just like on the wait list, and we were like, we don't really have a preference. We just want a puppy, like whatever you can give us. And so they were like, well, it's 3 boys. Are you okay with that? And we're like, Kanye, it is. So we got him, and then obviously he's not even 2 yet. And they got a divorce this was like 6 or 7 months ago. They started filing for a divorce.
Oh. So
now I'm like, do we not name her Kim? Like, if we get a girl, do we not name her Kim? But I still want to name her Kim. They're co-parenting. They're always going to be in each other's lives. Like, just do it. And then this is why. They're going to be Kim and Kanye Kardashian. Do you love it? Do you love that? You hesitated, and now I'm like, what did that pause mean? What was hidden and in silence?
That was just like, great. And then just a pure like blowback of just the pure coincidence of that working. Just it worked out for you.
So now we only have one, but I want another.
Okay, to be quite honest with you, I forgot the name of their kid.
Which one? They have 4: Psalm, Saint, Shy, and North.
Okay, it's North. It's the one where she was like, "What are those? These are clothes.
Oh my god!
What are those?" And then Kim was just looking so proud.
But that's the Kanye that I'm a fan of. Like, this Kanye is to me like so much better, and like he's so silly. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think he's nutso, but of course think he's great because he's like so different. Like, I feel like that's how people feel about Joe Rogan. Like, because he's different, and like there's not a lot of people like him. People obsess over him. Or like Elon Musk. People are obsessed with Elon Musk because he's so different, but like so like
he also
it's
has
cool.
Asperger's.
Really? I did not know that. Interesting.
He actually, when he hosted SNL, he said, I am the first confirmed host of SNL with Asperger's.
Wow. That's powerful. I feel like a lot of people have Asperger's who don't talk about it though, because it's like it's not necessarily something that people would see. Like, people may not know, and so it's not something that you need to like people wouldn't necessarily know if you didn't mention it. So it's like a lot of people probably don't mention it because you don't need to.
True. I
or
mean,
like you just go undetected, you know?
Exactly, and that's how things are with me. Especially like a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, if you didn't tell me, I would not have known that you were on the spectrum."
Right. I feel like that's how a lot of people feel. Probably. Like, you're probably not alone in that.
I mean, the thing is that it's not that it will ever really go away.
Right.
It's just that I kind of just mature, and it's just a part of my life.
Yeah. And I feel like as you get older too, you start to learn like, okay, these are the areas where maybe I feel a little bit different. And so that's like in these situations, maybe I'll be a little bit more conscious of it.
Yeah. And actually, to be quite honest, even though that Greek life is kind of, it is a toxic environment.
True.
I did get a lot out of it, especially.
Absolutely. I agree. Same.
Right? It really kicks you to the curb. If you utilize Greek life correctly, you can get a lot out of it.
I completely agree. And that's why, not that I really wanted to drop, it was just a lot of money and like commitment that I was like kind of like, this isn't where I want to spend my time anymore. I was making friends in other places, and when I joined Greek life, I didn't have a single friend at UCF. I didn't know anyone who was really at UCF except for like the kids that I had met at orientation and my roommates. And that was great, but I needed like people who I really felt like, okay, like you guys are like my friends from home, you know? Like you want to find people who remind you of like your best friend from home.
Yeah.
And so once I finally started making those friends like with people in Pi Phi, and then later on in like sophomore year, I started becoming friends with other people who were outside of Greek life. And I was just like, okay, I have my friends in Greek life who are great friends to me, but I don't need to be involved with the social aspect anymore. You know, I wasn't going on socials. Like, I wasn't showing up to anything. Like, it was kind of sad because like it was fun when I was there, but it was also like, I'd rather just hang out with my roommates who live in my house on the couch and watching TV instead of having to like go be fake and get dressed up.
I feel that.
I mean, like, personality-wise, I didn't have to fake anything. I was myself. But, like, just
100%.
having to get dressed up and looking cute, I was like, oh, I wish I didn't have to do this. But it really was a great experience. I have nothing but love for Pi Phi. I never had any bad hate towards anyone in Pi Phi. Always, like, I've had, obviously, when you're friends with people, you get into arguments. But I've never had a bad experience, like, with anyone. It's the things that people say about sororities just wasn't my reality. Like, there was toxicity in Greek life, but I don't feel like I was a part of that with, like, any of the girls in the house ever. Like, ever. There was never any drama for me.
Yeah.
But looking from the outside, it's like, you know, you're like, damn, there's some shit in there that's like...
Yeah. It's like you noticed it was there, and you know it's there, and you have to address it somewhat.
For sure.
However,
you have to acknowledge it.
Correct, but like I said, as long as you utilize it correctly,
yeah,
it could work wonders. And you know, me having a social deficit due to me being on the spectrum, I kind of needed that little ass whooping.
Right. So, do you have other friends who have Asperger's, like other adult friends?
I do. I mean, we don't really hang out, but it's like, you know,
Do you feel like different than them in some way?
What do you mean?
Like, do you feel like you could be as close with them as you are with your other friends? Who maybe don't have a diagnosis?
Yes and no, because they kind of just do their own thing.
Okay.
And so it's like...
You have to have a mix of people who are social, because they're more social, so... Or you're saying, no, they're less social than your other friends.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so it's nice to have people who bring you out of your shell.
Of course.
That's great.
And you learn a lot from other people. I just feel like if you know too many people at once, though, it kind of spreads you a little too thin.
I have to agree. And that's another thing with Greek life. You're so spread thin that you don't want to do anything. Because it is like a lot of socializing with people. Especially you. Like, you socialize with everyone. Like, you knew everyone in Greek life. I knew my friends' friends, and that's it.
It was nice, but then at the same time, it was kind of overwhelming.
Did you live in the house?
No, I lived there for 2 weeks, but that was in between leases.
Okay.
But no, I never lived in the house. My parents one time went to that thing. They were like, "Danny, you are never living here." So anyway, back to being a Kanye fan.
Back to that. We're back. Yeah, I don't know. I guess.
What's your favorite album of his? At least, what's your favorite album?
I don't know. I don't think I have a favorite album.
Okay.
But because there's songs that I really like from a bunch of different albums. But as a whole, I'd say that Ye is like the album that I have probably listened to the absolute most.
In general, or just of his?
Of his.
Got it.
Because that was when I started to really like Kanye. Like, when he released that album, it was like, so this is embarrassing, but I really got into Kanye because I started watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And I was like, oh my God, like, Kanye smacks. Like, he's fucking good. He smacks. So I started to listen to him, like, all the time. And I got into that, like, whole Kardashian, like, the whole, like, TV show, like, the whole vibe, like, all their shit, like, whatever. I was just into it. It was, I love reality TV. I can't lie. I love it. And that's kind of like how I started listening to him a lot. And I was just like, this is so great to work out to. And so it ended up being like all I listened to. And then the whole Kanye vibe of just being like a rich asshole. I was like, this is so fun. And like Brenda, like it fit my whole like vibe at the time.
What is Brenda, by the way?
So Brenda is like my drunk personality, I guess, like my alter ego.
Your Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of deal?
Right. But it's like, it's funny because I never call myself Brenda anymore because I feel like because I'm an adult now, I'm just like, this is just how I am now.
I'm an adult.
But when I was an underage college student, it was like Brenda was like my second person, like who I want to be. But now that I'm old enough to like be who I really am, I can just be myself. Because now I can't get in trouble for drinking, right? Like no one's you can't bust me. So if I want to dance on the table, you can't kick me out and then give me an MIP. You can kick me out. But I can get an Uber home, so it's fine.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure you'd still get kicked out.
I mean, listen, dancing on the table, people are so... Actually, well... I have a bad track record for dancing on tables and then falling off.
Just go to any Greek restaurant, you're fine.
Yeah, Opa.
That's right.
We'll have to make that a mobile podcast episode at Opa.
God, that sounds horrible. I feel like pieces of glass would just fly into the camera lens.
I've never even been. I'm so fake. I'm talking about it like I know.
Oh, I thought you didn't.
I wasn't a Pi Phi yet. It was the year before I came.
That's what that was. Oh, I always see the videos, so that's where I know about that. And plus, one of my aunt's favorite movies is My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
I've seen that movie numerous times.
And so,
Yep.
You know, eat meat. It is fine. I make lamb.
I saw that with a friend when I was in like middle school or high school, and she really liked the movie. But I know I said I'm not like a big movie person, but some movies I have seen, and the movies I've seen I really like. School of Rock.
Yes.
Is
classic.
like my favorite movie. Like, I love Jack Black. Yep. I think he's hysterical.
So that's my dad, my sisters, and I's one of our favorite movies.
It's so good.
My dad got us into. Have you ever heard of Tenacious D?
Yes.
So my dad got us tickets, and we were like 3 rows up from the stage.
How old were you?
Oh, this was like 2 years ago.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I was thinking it was like a long time ago.
No. It was like 2 years ago.
That's so funny.
We were like 3 rows up, and we could just see like every individual one of his beard hairs.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Oh,
That's
was
mighty.
It was mind blowing.
Literally. Yeah, that's a great movie. It's funny that I have like no musical ability because I love music so much, like, but I just don't have it in me.
That's the beautiful thing about music. You don't need to learn.
Well, I love to sing, but I'm not a good singer, and I love to dance. That's why Brenda is like actually me, because like all of the stuff that I would do when I was like effed up, I do sober too.
Got it.
And I like don't mind. Like, I will just do it.
Or maybe it's like or maybe it's kind of like you saying what you want to do, but then you never really consciously wanted to do it, but it's kind of pushing you out of a boundary.
It is. It's like, it's just making me go crazy. Like, just go do that dance, girl, and don't stop until you pop it right.
I love that confidence. I love that for you.
Thanks. I'm a Leo. I'm just kidding. I don't know like anything about.
I was about to say I'm a Sagittarius. Does that mean I suck?
I don't know. I really don't know what that means. I'm just like, oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah, rising moon Sagittarius, 4 Leos to the left.
To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right.
Every time I hear that, I think of either
a wedding,
middle school, or bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
Weddings too.
That's going to be on my do not play list at my wedding. That is for sure.
I love it.
That is not being played. I'm sick of it. Like, it's one of those songs that just reminds me of my middle school. His name was Roland. He was our teacher for music, and he was like a jazz singer. I think he was in a band.
Oh.
He played an instrument, I believe. Yeah, I mean, I really liked him, but I'm not trying to expose him. But apparently, he had a drinking problem.
Oh, okay.
But he was I loved him,
Listen,
you know?
I had a coach who had a drinking problem, too. It's all right.
I'm not usually a drink person. Like, I usually just drink water. But in the past few weeks, I've become a very big drink person. And the fact that you offered me a drink when I got here, like, gave me options. I was like, hell yeah, I want something now. When you were just like, do you want a water? I was like, no, I'll be okay. But when you offered me a kombucha, I was like, let me rethink this.
Well, I'm part Korean. Hospitality is very deep rooted in our culture.
Okay, I did not know this, so thank you for giving me some bits of your culture.
Yep.
Well, not that I didn't know you were Korean, but that I didn't know that it was hospitality was.
Hospitality is huge.
That's great.
Yep.
Well, you were very hospitable for me today.
Well, thank you. 감사합니다.
I'll write you an Airbnb review.
Excellent.
Airbnb host. You'll be a premium before you know it.
Wow.
A super host with a star next to your name.
Wow. Are we doing the ASMR thing?
Yes. What kind of car do you drive? Hong Kong.
Vroom.
I thought you were going to say it. I was like, wait, what? I'm waiting.
Honda. Oh, I'm sorry. Hyundai.
Oh, you threw me off. You said Honda.
Yeah, that's the point.
So they don't know what it is.
Yeah, of course. I don't want people knowing my information.
Okay, it's been erased from your memory now.
It's kind of like Men in Black. Here you go.
Haven't seen Men in Black, but.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Not even the cartoon?
Mm-mm.
Oh, no.
Mm-mm. No, don't ask me a thing about Disney movies because I haven't seen any. I've seen Finding Nemo. I've seen some. I just don't.
Men in Black's not a Disney movie.
It's not?
No.
Okay. I thought it was like on Disney Plus or something.
No.
I just cracked my chest again. I'm trying to get it on the.
I feel it. Get that
hurts.
ASMR.
I need to.
One thing that I sometimes listen to is that ASMR like bone cracking thing.
Ooh.
It feels kind of nice, and that honestly...
It feels nice? Does it send chills down your spine?
No, but it does...
Shivers?
It makes me want to go to the chiropractor.
Mm-hmm. Waking up in the morning makes me want to go to the chiropractor. Going to sleep at night, standing up from your chair is going to make me want to go to the chiropractor.
I'm just getting old.
I know. I, like, don't even know. And when I sit at my desk, like, my computer is so tiny. It's so frustrating. And then, like, my desk is so large, and I'm like, your computer is so big. It makes me feel like I'm really missing out.
No, I just have a really big monitor, and even though I game, it's mostly used for editing because I need that.
Are my feet going to be in the camera? Because if they are,
no.
Thank God.
Oh, yeah, no, it's like literally like here.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great.
Don't worry, you're not going to give any free feet
That's
pics.
what I was thinking. I will charge you for that if that's what you're asking for.
If I see them, I'll blur them out.
Yeah, please. Be like, not free. Must pay. Just put my Venmo.
And we'll go 50-50. Fair?
I'm going to have my lawyer contact you. We'll write out a contract.
Awesome.
Does your whole family live in Florida?
In South Florida, all the white side at least does. Okay. Well, some little pockets live in Cali and New York.
Nice.
But right, and then when it comes to the Korean side, most of like 90% of them live in Korea, and then I actually have cousins who live in Virginia.
Oh, nice. Okay, so all over.
Yep.
Have you ever lived anywhere else?
I was a military child, so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So if anything, I was born in Cali.
Nice.
And then moved to Korea.
Okay.
Then moved to Arizona.
Wow, wait, how long did you live there in all these places?
Just for like months at a time, or like years. So then I moved back to Korea, and then I moved to South Florida, Virginia, then Melbourne, Florida, then South Florida, and then Orlando.
Okay, so like South Florida is like your
is my home base.
Got it.
That's where I say I'm from.
How long have you lived in South Florida?
Like about 16 years, or no wait, hold on. Let's see, I was there for 6th grade.
Okay, so since 6th grade.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a long time.
And you said you're from Jacksonville, right?
I am. I'm from like Jacksonville, St. Augustine area. Both the road that I live on, one side of it is the Jacksonville zip code, and the other side is the St. Augustine zip code.
Interesting.
So technically, I live in St. Johns County.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is that like a buffer zone?
Pretty much, yeah. St. John's is like its own little thing now, and then like we're surrounded by other places who are like their own little things, but they're all like still subgroups of St. Augustine and Jacksonville. When you think of St. Augustine, like most people probably think of like historic St. Augustine, and that's not where I live.
Got it.
I live more north than that, and then when you think of Jacksonville, you probably think of like downtown Jacks or like the beaches or whatever, like Jacksonville, like whatever, Jaguars area that by the stadium, Everbank.
You're a big Jaguars fan?
Yeah. Well, this is.
She's saying no, folks. She's too embarrassed to say it.
I am a big Jaguars fan. I am, truly, I swear. But I got into I'm a Notre Dame fan. My dad graduated from Notre Dame. He's like takes us up there every single year for a game, and then that's just like a thing we've been doing for a really long time. So I started out as like a really big Notre Dame fan.
So you love the movie Rudy?
I actually haven't even seen Rudy.
Are you for real?
But I'm a legit fan though. I've been to Notre Dame a bunch of times.
Okay.
We tailgate there every year too, so it's not just like
you need to watch Rudy.
I'm not faking it. Like
you need to watch Rudy.
I know. I'm like it's kind of embarrassing, but when you told me that you wanted to talk about Kanye, I thought you wanted to talk about my dog Kanye, and I was like, hell yeah, let's talk about him. And then it was like minutes later that I was like, oh my gosh, he's actually talking about Kanye West. And then I got struck with imposter syndrome, and I'm like, I'm not even a real fan because it's like I'm not even like into old Kanye. Like I am, his music is good, but I'm invested in who he is now and what he produces now as well.
Got it.
And that's how like with the Jags, I grew up in Jacksonville, but my family wasn't Jags fans. I mean, they weren't good. So it wasn't just like, oh, you move there and you become a fan. It was like you move there and like you maybe go to a game like on a school field trip kind of thing.
Got it.
But my family they're all from up north, so they like the Giants or something. I don't know.
Got it.
I don't know. Jets, I don't know.
Where are they from?
Well, my parents grew up in New Jersey.
Got it.
My mom was like born in New York.
Okay.
But they lived like in Connecticut for a little while.
Okay.
Whatever.
Got it.
And then moved down to Florida when I was in kindergarten. I was 4, on the verge of turning 5. I turned 5 in Florida.
Oh, so you were actually born
in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. And then I lived there for, 4 years and then started kindergarten in Florida. So I just feel like I'm from
Florida. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like moving there and
Yeah.
then just kind of adopting it.
Exactly. It's like, this is who I am now. I feel like it irritates my family because my hometown now is Florida. And my mom's always like, you're a Jersey girl. I'm like,
Your hometown is Florida?
yeah.
Hometown? Florida?
Oh. I was like, yeah. No, yeah, my home state
There we
is
go.
Florida. To get specific,
Excellent.
if you will.
So imposter syndrome, kind of elaborate more on that. 'Cause
Well, I don't know, I don't know a whole lot, but I just sometimes feel like, not just me, but other people as well. I've actually seen this in one of the trainings that I attended. People will get down on themselves because they don't think that they're actually experts on things that they really know a lot about, because they don't want to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm pretending to know so much about something that I genuinely don't know about. And sometimes I feel like that. Not so much with kids. Truthfully, I feel very confident in my knowledge that I have and my base, my knowledge base. But sometimes with other things, with Kanye, I don't feel like I know everything about him, so I feel bad saying I'm a super fan, because I feel like this is how I think, by the way. I'm like, someone else is going to think that I'm fake because I don't know this song from back in the day. I'm a fake ass fan. But that's why I was like, let me preface with, I am a big fan of Kanye, but I'm a fan of Kanye now. I love his newer music and his old music, but specifically I became a fan when he dropped Yay.
That's kind of the beautiful thing about fandoms is just that you don't have to be born to be a fan.
They evolve.
Correct.
Around as the artists change, your fan base change too.
Correct. And that's just for really any fan base. I mean,
true.
As long as you find a really strong gravitational pull towards one kind of topic or person, why who's to say that one's a bigger fan than the other just because they know the entire discography? That's great. And listen, and if someone likes just Gold Digger, that's fine.
That's fine. I'm not mad at you, baby. We all like Gold Digger.
Yeah, all of you guys
You're
will be
welcome
bumping
to
in the
like
club.
it. Exactly. We're all gonna be get down, girl. Go ahead, get down. Get down, girl. Go ahead, get down. Yeah.
He doesn't do any ad libs like that. I noticed.
No, he doesn't.
That's more Migos.
Because he doesn't need to, because his beats do all the talking.
He is a fantastic producer.
He's great, man. Donda, 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 donda.
When I first heard that, I was like, I guess this is art. But then when you hear the actual story behind it, it's like, oh. And I can kind of empathize with that because my mom died when I was 10.
Really? I didn't know that.
When I was 10, yeah.
So do you have a stepmother?
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Do you guys have a good relationship?
We do.
Love that.
Yep.
That's great.
They do.
That's it's a nice story to hear that you had someone else who stepped in to be there too.
She did a great job too.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
What a great person.
Mm-hmm.
You should bring her on the podcast.
I don't think she'd want to be on, to be honest with you.
You don't think so?
Nah, my parents aren't like that.
I respect that. I thought the album was great. I hated that he took so long to put it out. I was like, what are you doing, dude? Did you watch any of the Apple Music premieres?
Nah.
I didn't buy. I did an Apple Music trial so that I could watch it. And you know what's even better? It came out right around the time of my birthday. And
awesome.
His first listening party was while we were on vacation for my birthday. So we were watching it.
Where were you guys?
We went to Fort Lauderdale. We stayed at the Conrad in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
We had a friend come. We put my phone, I had my iPad. We put it on my iPad and then hooked up a speaker, a Wonder Boom, and had that sitting next to us on the bed. And then on the TV, we had the Love Island episode because it was an elimination. So we were watching the two things at the same time. We were like, why is he taking so long? But he did do us a favor and he waited until Love Island was over to start. So it worked out really well. But I thought it was good. I like Donda. I love Donda. I think it's great.
And you think it's better than Certified Lover Boy?
I haven't even listened to Certified Lover Boy. Does that tell you anything? I just don't care. And I'm not one of those people who's stalking my New Music Friday on Spotify. I'm not ever on that. So unless it comes on the radio, which yes, I still listen to the radio in my car all the time. Unless I'm trying to get hype, or if I'm on my way to work, sometimes I'm I can't listen to a talk show. I have to get excited. I have to wake up. But I just listen to whatever comes on.
So,
And I only listen to country radio because that's the only station I know, K92.3.
would you say Kanye is definitely one of those people that gets you hype and pumped up for anything?
Oh, yeah.
So,
absolutely.
What are your top 5 songs that would get you pumped up for a day at work?
This is kind of easy. I could probably pick more than 5, but...
This is kind of Yeezy?
It's kind of easy, baby. Black Skinhead is up there. All of the Lights. N-Words in Paris. Which I just... Let me have a piece real quick. I hate when people say the N-word in music. And Kanye bleeped out all of the bad words from his Donda album. And I love that. I wish everyone would do that. I sing songs and I bleep out the words myself. Like because I'm a radio listener. That's why. So I'm so used to hearing the radio edits. So I just automatically if when I was a kid, Gives You Hell would come on the radio and be like, gives you, hope it gives you. And so that's in my head how I sing it now. If it comes on a Peloton ride, that's what I do. I'm like, hope it gives you.
Oh, wait, you're big into Peloton?
Yeah, and that's another thing that's really fun. When they play Kanye in a Peloton ride, I'm fucking zooming. I'm
your feet are looking like Sonic the Hedgehog's, just going in circles?
I'm going 120 cadence, if you know what I'm saying.
I don't, but I'm sure Peloton
that means
listeners...
That means you're going full bore.
Oh, okay, got it. Well,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure any Peloton listener would understand what you're talking about.
Katie, I know you're watching this.
You better be watching this, Katie.
She'll be watching. But yeah, so Kanye is definitely my hype music, 100%. It's what I listen to. And you know what is great about Kanye? Oh, I only listed 3 songs. Okay, so I said All of the Lights.
Brothers in Paris. And Black Skinhead. I also love Famous. Famous is my jam. And then this is hard because I didn't list any of the songs from his more recent albums. So that just shows that I do have a lot of diversity in my Kanye West. But from a recent album, I'm going to say Jail. Jail is my jam right now. Jail, the original Jail, not Jail Part 2. The one with Jay-Z. Oh, I didn't listen to that part. But I did listen to the first one.
That part, that's another song.
By Schoolboy Q?
Yeah.
That part.
Schoolboy Q.
When I first heard that song, I thought he said dad bod.
Dad bods were a thing for a minute, so I can totally understand why you would think that.
Yeah, I'm husky, dad bod.
Is that what he says?
No.
Oh, I
just pulled a Weird Al and made that up on the spot.
Oh, that's fine. You're more than welcome to do that. I believed you, so it worked. Success. I didn't know.
Great. Reality can be whatever I want.
That's true. This is factual. Facts don't require your approval, but I approve of that fact.
Unfortunately, that's true, and some facts do hurt, but that's
absolutely, and that is another reason why you should listen to the Sharon Says So podcast, or just simply give her a follow on Instagram at Sharon Says So. She's just great. Sorry, I am. You asked if I had any plugs. That's my plug. Go follow Sharon Says So. I'm making the world a better freaking place. Y'all hear me? Better place.
I hear you. I hear you quite loud here.
I know. I love hearing it. It as in my voice.
You label yourself as an it.
An it. I am. I'm just a being.
We're all just people in this rock and floating in space.
Listen, we're all just here, so just try to be nice to each other.
Fuck no.
Of course. Someone's got to be the asshole.
All right, so we've come to that point in the Big DK Energy episode where we now go into the question round.
Yes,
so
we have.
These are 10 questions that I smithed out for you.
Okay.
You don't know about them. And it's for the audience to get to know you better.
Okay.
Just give me a few moments to pull these up.
I'm excited for this. I don't know what to expect, but I'm expecting greatness.
It's nothing embarrassing or something you'll lose your job over. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Well, that's no fun.
I have it written down as Erin Tio because I don't know if...
It's Tillo, by the way.
It's Tillo?
It is Tillo. I've noticed that people are going to start thinking that it's Tio.
Yeah.
Because it's a double L.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to keep Murphy, but I'm going to add Tillo on the end. I'm going to become Erin Murphy Tillo instead of Erin Christine Murphy.
Got it.
Yeah, switching it up on y'all.
Nice. All right, excellent. So going into the question round.
Let's go.
All right, excellent. Erin,
Yes.
number 1. Kanye has given you 24 hours to hang out with him anywhere in the world. Tell me the location and your itinerary.
So I'd probably want to hang out with him at a karaoke bar.
Just any karaoke bar, or like do you have like a specific place you want to be?
I want to be somewhere where I feel really confident. And I went to Savannah, Georgia with some of my best friends earlier this year, and we went to a karaoke bar, and I don't know what it was called, but it was like it was a drag show, and then they had karaoke after, and I wanted to do it there because I felt myself there. I felt like I could be me, and I tried to do the worm, and they yelled at me, and they told me I had to get up because of COVID, and I was like, listen, I don't give a fuck. I have to do the worm. I also think I did a split, and she told me I had to get up, which was also like, for what? If I'm gonna get COVID, I'm gonna do it. If I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it. So I'm gonna also get it by getting the split.
Nice.
So that was that. So yeah, I would like to go to a karaoke bar with Kanye West. We will do a couple songs. Personally, my favorite is American Boy. That's a really good duet, and I can be Estelle.
Do you sound like Estelle?
He said, "Hey sister, it's really, really nice to meet you."
Keep your child care job.
I just met a 5'7" guy who's just my type. Was that good?
Could use some work.
I'll practice.
There we go.
For my debut. So that's what we do. We probably, I don't know. I would ask him about what it's like to live with the Kardashians, and maybe tell him about my dreams, because, you know, he was opening that Yeezy Institute or whatever the fuck it was called.
Mm-hmm.
So I might talk to him about that and see if he wants to bounce some ideas off of me. Maybe I can like help him develop a business plan, help him improve his interactions with his kids. So I think we could have a great partnership.
Excellent.
If he's willing to take a risk on me.
Awesome.
That was a good first question.
I liked your answer a lot, actually.
Thank you. I really didn't know you were asking that, so that was just genuinely what I would want to do.
Exactly. That's the point.
Yeah, that's how I would feel most comfortable interacting with him for the first time.
See, when I go and making my questions, I actually want to make them meaningful, because one time I was editing a podcast, and there was this guy who's one of my really close friends and his really basic ass girlfriend. And so she was like, "Babe, what are two of my favorite things?" And he was like, "Wine and chocolates." And she goes, "That's right." And I was like, "Good Lord, where's the nearest sharpest object so I can gouge my eyes out?"
Oh no. Wait, why? Because it's just too basic for you? You're just like, I can't do this. I can see where you're coming from. Like the generic answer.
Exactly. It's just like, there's nothing exciting about it.
Like, that's like saying Chipotle and Taylor Swift. It's like, okay, yeah, we already knew that by your appearance. Can you give us some more?
Is there anything else to this?
Anything else, or is that all? That's all you got for us today?
Are you vanilla or French vanilla?
Right. I'm actually toasted coconut.
You're vanilla.
Okay. Even though I'm a Kanye fan, that doesn't make me different. Still basic.
What are you going to say? You like the Chainsmokers next?
Fuck no.
Okay, good.
I mean, like, I don't hate them. They are on the radio, so I do listen to them
Just
occasionally.
because they're on the radio does not mean they're good.
From your roommate back in Boulder, we ain't ever getting older.
That was the final straw for me. I'm like, yeah, done.
You're like, this is where I give up.
Exactly.
At this point.
That's how I also feel about Imagine Dragons.
They are in the same sphere, and I honestly, like, I know I'm a Nickelback fan, so if you're going to loop me into that, then fine. I don't care. I'll sit here happy with listening to my Photograph.
Honestly, that was a pretty decent Chad Kroeger.
You should hear Will's Dear Maria, Count Me In.
Oh my God.
Because I got your picture. I forgot your window's open, too, so anyone outside is probably like, what the fuck is going on in there?
It doesn't matter.
Because I got your picture. I'm coming with you. Dear Maria, count me in.
Question number 2.
And with that,
what's one of your favorite lessons from life?
Recently, I think I've just learned that just doing shit, even when you don't want to, it feels so much better to just get shit done. I saw on TikTok someone was like, it was an ADHD tip, and it was, don't put it down, put it away. And I was like, you're fucking right. Because when you just do it and you don't think about it, you get so much done and you feel so much more successful. Another lesson that I've learned is to always write stuff down. No matter who you are, it will benefit you to have a notepad. I have notepads for everything. I have like 2 work notepads. I have one generic notepad that's much larger, so I can write like multiple lists on it at once. I have like a wedding notepad. I've got a journal notepad where I write down thoughts or like things that I need to remember to buy, or like, you know, birthday reminders, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like writing everything down and then just actually doing it. Like when I'm getting down on myself at work and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel so lazy, like I feel unproductive, I just write a list and I'm like, okay, check it off and cross it. Like put a little check mark in the box, put a dash through it. Ah, feels good. Do it again. That's like my biggest thing. Like Trust me, I don't always just do it. Like, a lot of times I put stuff off for no reason at all, and then I do it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I should have done this like a month ago. I would have been way less stressed. So that's my biggest lesson.
Procrastination is heck.
It is. It'll give you so much anxiety. Like, procrastinating kills.
Both dreams and grades. Number 3.
Let's go.
I don't know if his first name is Cher, but Khan, the owner of the Jags, he offers you and Will box seats to a game, and you only have 4 invites plus you 2. Who do you invite? You're allowed to invite anybody. Friends, family, celebrities, influencers.
Okay, so we'll definitely take Will's mom and his sister because they are, like, massive fans. So those are our first 2. So then we have 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
We'd probably take Will's little brother, J-Dub, because he's been coming with us to, like, every game. So J-Dub.
Mm-hmm.
And then Will would want me to bring a friend. But this is challenging because now I have to pick one person. I know Rachel's going to watch this. So, Rachel, I would probably pick you because you haven't come to any Jags games with me. And I mean all of the shade with this. So, I would pick Rachel so she has to come.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Extra shade given.
Extra shade given.
You must be an extra tall tree because extra shade was given.
Yep. I am Will used to work for a landscaping company. He knows about, like, palm trees and stuff. I'm trying to remember a name for a palm tree, but I don't have it.
How about palm tree?
But, like, I'm a massive palm tree.
Or
I'm one of those palm trees that you see, like, when you look at pictures of Hollywood.
Or a sequoia.
Biggest tree. There you go. I'll be a sequoia.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean the shade, though, for sure, because she hasn't come to any games. Like, what are you doing? Come. All my other friends have come. Where are you?
Yeah, where is my invite, Erin?
Oh, do you want to come?
Yeah.
We're going on October 10th.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't confirmed that I'm going because it's so much work. It's on Sundays.
I'm just kidding.
So you have to drive back. So I'm in the deciding period. But if we go, you're welcome to come.
I'm just kidding, but I appreciate it.
You are.
If the invite still holds up,
right.
and if I'm in the area, sure,
yeah.
Why not?
Well, it's in Jacksonville, so you'd have to travel.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Have you ever been to Jacksonville?
I've only driven through it.
Okay. So that'd be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe they'll win.
Who knows? Knock on wood. Although I think this is plastic, so
it's
I think
fine.
they were
can pretend.
They were gonna lose next week anyway. No offense.
They almost won last night.
Yeah, almost. That's the key.
It was an almost, yeah.
Yeah. So number 4.
Okay.
And I'll go in a little bit more detail for it.
Okay.
What would be your ideal Peloton location? Like if you could airlift your bike anywhere in the world, like on a mountaintop on a boat in the middle of the ocean.
I would definitely have to say on a mountain because I have no real athletic gifts. I'm not like a super, like I'd say I'm pretty clumsy. Like I'm not stable on my legs. I don't feel like I was really ever good at any sport. I was decent at sports, but I was never really good at anything but weightlifting, and that requires literally like just like technique, practice. Doesn't really require you to be super, like swimming, you have to know more than you have to have more than just like technique in swimming. Like you have to have strong lung capacity. Like I don't have that. I keep doing that. So I never really had like a super athletic bone in my body. But Pelotoning doesn't really require you to be athletic. It just requires you to move your legs. So I probably want to do it on a mountaintop because like how often do you really get to like go up to the top of the mountain without having to like actually walk up there?
Right.
I would be airlifted and then I would just ride and be good.
Awesome. Okay, this might sound like a dumb follow-up question, but where would this mountain be? Is it in the Rockies? Is it in the Himalayas?
I love Colorado, but I've never been to Utah before, and I really want to go to Utah. I have a friend who lives out there. So we keep saying we're going to go visit, and we still haven't. She's been living out there forever, but since like high school. But if not in Utah or Colorado, then like maybe California, because I've never been to California either. I'm not really a wide world kind of gal. Mm-hmm. I like have never left the country, actually.
Really?
Never. And in terms of like places I've ever wanted to visit, like Australia is the only place that comes to mind. But now we're doing like honeymoon. We're trying to think like where would we want to go, and Will's like, let's go to like Italy. So now I'm like, okay, maybe we'll see.
How about Australia?
But I don't know. I feel like he's like Italy is your vibe.
True.
So maybe Italy is for the best.
Maybe.
We'll see. We'll see how it transpires. But right now, it's just a thought.
True. I mean, get through the wedding first, I think.
Exactly. That's like usually the first step.
Yeah.
We're still so far. So far away.
Yeah. That was an awesome answer for Pelotoning. Honestly, if I wasn't broke, I'd honestly want to get one.
It's so great. I mean, it's definitely not. It's a very expensive purchase, and there are ways to work around it. You can always get like another stationary bike and then attach like a cadence monitor to it.
True.
Or you could get the app, and then if you have a gym membership, you can always do it on a bike at the gym. So there's other ways around it, like cheaper ways. But I have to personally say that having the bike, it changes the game for me. If I didn't have the bike, I probably wouldn't use it as much because I hate going to the gym.
Me too, to be quite honest with you.
Yep, that's what happened to me. Now I'm just at home Pelotoning.
I need something like that.
It's so nice.
So, anyway, number 5.
Okay.
You and Will decide to do a road trip with Kanye. And it's going to be a week long. Mm-hmm. Where do you go?
My instinct says Colorado. I think, honestly, Colorado. Like, that is our spot now. Like, where we automatically go to for vacation. I also, like I said, I'd love to go to Utah and just, like, drive around. We've talked about possibly one day like visiting every like national park and trying to do that, and how cool that would be. And like that's a good, like when we have kids, like that's a good thing to do with your kids, like to take them outside. You can put them in a stroller and walk around. There's so many beautiful sights, but it's always nice going to a new place. So I don't want to say Colorado because I feel like when you just stay in one place the whole time, like if you always go visit the same place, it starts to get boring and old.
That's how I feel about people who go to Disney every weekend.
Oh my gosh, I could never. And I live like so close to Disney. Like everyone is an annual pass holder. Everyone. Except for me and Will. We're just like, hey.
I've always wondered, does the magic eventually like fade away?
For me, like the magic is only there when I'm at Epcot and I'm drinking around the world. I'm like, this is so fun. And then the next day you check your bank account and you're like, did I really just spend $350 on alcohol? Am I okay? And a headband from Japan? Like, literally, people come out with a machete and they're like, oh my God, I had so much fun drinking around the world. I'm like, you spent $950. Are you okay?
Wait, you bought a machete there?
I didn't.
Oh, I was about to say.
I don't, that's not me, but like people who are Disney fans, like they will spend money. Or like on the wands, like people will spend money.
Oh, and the lightsabers too.
Yeah, that ain't me. Is that you?
No, definitely not.
Oh, I thought you were going to show me a picture.
Oh, no. If anything, I was just pulling up the questions again.
Oh.
All right, speaking of that, number 6. Your wedding is coming up. Mazel tov, by the way.
Thank you.
If it was turned into a Hollywood movie and you got to pick the cast, who would be in the movie playing who?
That's a really good question.
I want you to think.
Me? I could go with the easy answer and say Kaylee Kyoko, or however you say her last name, because she is literally my doppelganger, apparently. Everyone at work calls me Penny. From Big Bang Theory.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. I mean, probably her, but like what I really want to say is Kim Kardashian.
How did I know?
Just because like I feel like that would be so funny. It would be like a spoof. Like an Erin Murphy spoof. Like of my wedding. And then Will would be JJ Watt.
Really?
Just because he's hot. JJ, you're hired. I mean, his wife could play me if that would make them feel more comfortable.
Okay.
If that would improve the quality of our film.
Fair enough.
I'm fine with that.
Who are playing your parents?
My dad would probably want Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite to play him.
Oh my God.
My dad looks nothing like him.
That's fantastic.
He just, when he met Will, he told Will, oh, you can call me Uncle Rico. So Will literally calls my dad Uncle Rico.
That's fantastic.
And then my mom, I don't know. That's like around her age. Like she can get Sandra Bullock.
Okay, that works.
I mean, you're welcome, Mom.
Exactly. Sandra Bullock is an upgrade to us all.
Yeah. Or like if she wants someone else, like I would even get her like Jennifer Lawrence or something.
Okay.
Because she's like a great actress, so I feel like she could play any part.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any cool names for this movie of your wedding?
I mean, maybe like the Classy Rager.
The Classy Rager.
Something like that.
That sounds like...
Had to put a title on it.
That sounds like the name of a boat.
Band.
Oh, I was going to say a boat.
Yeah.
Arg, there'd be the classic ranger.
Yeah, that does sound like a boat name. I don't know. Now I'm thinking like, do we need to have a name?
Nah, you know what? Screw it. We don't need the name.
Are you sure?
I mean, if you want to come up with a
Well,
name.
now like for my legit wedding, I feel like I have to have like a name for it. Because like they titled the name of one of the emails the Murphy Tillo wedding, and I was like, that's lame. That's like when your teacher asks you like, oh, make a group name, and you're like, the blue team, the Tigers. It's like, you're so lame. How about the like raging
Pikachus.
tadpoles?
Oh yeah, that's just as
Metamorphosis. Have you ever had to pick a name for trivia night?
Yeah.
What's your go-to name?
My go-to name, Flying Buttresses.
Excuse me?
Flying
What does this mean?
Flying Buttresses.
Buttresses?
Buttresses. I think it's like I
Buttresses?
think it's a piece of furniture or something. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Okay. I respect that. But is there any significance behind it, or you just like that name?
It's just a stupid name that I just find funny.
Okay, see, I take pride in these kinds of things. My name for...
Oh, it's a pillow.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, no, sorry. A projecting support of stone or brick built against a wall.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure, that's fine.
But I wasn't being lewd. Continue.
Oh. When you say lewd, it makes me think of like when there's someone who is on the sexual predator list and it says lewd and lascivious behavior or battery or something.
Great.
That's like the only time I've ever heard that word before. Okay, anyways, in another sentence, what I was saying was my name for trivia is usually the educated guessers, because it's like we're all college graduates, but we're all guessing. We don't know what we're talking about. We were not born in the 60s. We don't have the answers to these boomer questions. Truthfully.
Stupid boomers.
That's what always happens. Like we go to trivia night and it's all geared towards people who were born like when we were, or who were born when we were like not even a figment of anyone's imagination.
That's right.
It's unfair. That's what the good thing about living in the UCF area is. There's so many things geared towards college age people. It's relatable.
Well, of course, that's their audience.
Yeah. By me, it's all like people who stay at the Margaritaville Resort and golf.
Yeah, besides, old people can't stay up that late. So what makes you think that... that it's called the early bird special for a reason.
Yeah.
All right.
You are darn right. Darn right, son.
Darn tootin'.
Darn tootin'.
So number 7, you deal with very unique individuals, and you said that you have a very soft spot for people with Down syndrome, right? Mm-hmm. What is a lesson that you've learned from somebody with Down syndrome? Like a very valuable lesson that most people that you think wouldn't know that you would get from someone with Down syndrome, if that makes sense.
So I think something that I've kind of noticed that I don't know if I'd say it's like a lesson, but I've just noticed that when you have a child who, as like either a parent or as like a teacher or something, but when you have a child in your life who has unique abilities or who's different, mm-hmm. they offer so much to their peers, more to their peers than maybe you would realize. But it offers kids who grow up with, if you're a sibling of someone who has like special needs, you're learning such a valuable lesson about being different and like what it means to not necessarily be like dumber, but just you just need a different approach sometimes. And that's all it is. It's like the shift of perspective that it gives you when you know people who have differing needs and differing abilities. And like, I'm sure there are certain things that you're really good at that I suck at. And I'm sure there's things that I'm really good at that you suck at. And it's like that happens in any situation. But when it's a person who has some sort of disability, quote unquote, disability, you really can appreciate that there's still different ways of doing things. Like, right? Like if you're blind, you can still go out and enjoy the world being blind. It might look different than how me or you would do it, but you can still do it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really important lesson that I've learned from my work and my time working with people who are different. For example, when I was in college, I worked with the Down Syndrome Association for like a little minute, and we did a book club. And I had never worked with adults with Down syndrome before. So that was like a switch, and I was not prepared. I wasn't where I am now, but it was still a great opportunity for me to like have an experience that I had never had before. But even in that, there's amazing like opportunities to learn about people and like valuable lessons that you learn about people that you may not have had if you never were put in a situation where you're learning alongside of them or where you're interacting with them in a way that's more than just passing them by in the grocery store or going to the doctor's office and there's someone sitting next to you who's like flapping or something. Like that's a different experience than when you're reading a book together and you're asking them, have you ever felt like this, like in your own life? We're reading the book Wonder. You know, like, have you ever felt like maybe other people were looking at you different? And they're like, yeah, I felt that way. Or like other people didn't understand you. Yeah, I felt like that. But to wrap it back to what I was saying about how good it is for peers, like it's perspective changing for people. And adults are usually really set in their ways, right? Like older adults. So having those opportunities to do that as a child forms your brain in a way that's like, oh, like this person isn't like what you were saying. Like you're not retarded. Like this person isn't retarded. They just have a different way of doing things. Like they're not messed up or they're not like horrible. They don't need a label like that. They're just different people with different needs than what we have. And that's where like equity comes in. Like we can make education accessible to everybody, but you can't, it's not one size fits all. You have to have differentiation in the way that you're educating and teaching people. And when people are like, I don't get it, that's when you have to pivot and say, okay, take a step back. What can we do differently to make it better for you? Because everyone else is okay, but one person's not. So it's easy to fix for one person, or it's easy to fix for 3 people than it is to fix for, if your whole class, if 16, 15 people is struggling with something, you're going to change it. So if it's just one person who needs a switch, why not? That's only one change. It's easy. People just make it seem so hard. It's really not.
I just feel like they just don't want to put in the work.
Exactly. There's no room for that here. There's the door, bitch. There's the door, bitch.
Excellent. What you do is fantastic.
Thank you.
And so
it is my passion.
I love that. And it's just amazing what you can learn from
Passive, the things you say.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Right,
that is a Drake song, though.
I was about to say, I'm just like, I thought you didn't like Drake.
I listened, like I said, on the radio, that's fine. But I'm not like a massive Drake fan. Carry on. I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good.
I rudely interrupted.
No, you good. All right, number 8. What is something that makes you genuinely happy that is not Kanye, Jags and UCF football, Peloton, or your work?
Well, can I say Will? Or is that too basic? Something else?
You get one. You get Will and another.
Okay. How about... Can it be like something simple, or do you want it to be like meaningful?
Literally anything that you want to say.
Something that makes me really happy is when I'm able to have a conversation with someone where you see their perspective change. And like see things in a different way. And I get to do that a lot in my work with coaching, because I have conversations about things that people are doing, about what I'm seeing, like direct observation. I am writing down. Danny is sitting looking at me with his phone in his right hand, and he's sitting and he's looking at me attentively with his eyes on me. Like that's how I write my notes. So when I'm able to present it to someone in that way, and then they're like, oh, that's how I knew that he was paying attention. It gives people a shift about like looking at like kids, for example. It's like, oh, I see that he's looking at the lamp, so that must mean he wants me to turn the lamp on. It's like picking up on cues that you wouldn't notice before, but being able to see someone have that perspective change that they may not have had if they didn't have this conversation with you. And so, like, I've had this happen in my relationship with Will too, because we have a lot of like differing views, but what's really cool is like when things like this come up, like he's so attentive and like listening to what I say about, because I work with people who are from like totally different background than me, who are maybe like from a really low income community, and the kids might have parents who are really young, or whatever the situation is. And then obviously, like I said, there's also families that I work with who are very similar to my own, so it can kind of go both sides. But what I was saying about Will is like when you have conversations where you're like, well, I get what you're saying, and that's your reality, that's your experience. But I also know of families who are coming from this background too, and this is their reality and their experience. And so that's why I feel like this is important. He's like, you know what, you're right. And it's like so great to see like, oh, you're like really listening to like understand. You're not just listening to say, oh, I don't care what your perspective is. It's like when people really like take on a different perspective, you become like a more empathetic person. So that's like something that's really powerful, even if it's not like changing your way of thinking or changing like your beliefs, even if it's something so simple as like a comment that you make about like the R word. Like I have Will's friends who will not say it in front of me. They will say the R word. They will not say the actual word in front of me because they know that I will literally be like, I don't like when you say that. And that's great. I'm like, I love that you guys are willing to do that for me. Like, it's so simple. And like, I know you're not saying it in a mean way. You're not trying to bully, but that's the connotation and I don't like it. So don't say it around me.
Fair enough.
Yep.
And you are entitled to whatever.
Exactly. It's a boundary.
There we go. You're entitled to your own boundaries.
Yep.
All right. Excellent.
Yes, sir.
Number 9.
Okay.
What's an important value to you?
Well, back on what I was just saying, honestly, empathy. Like, that's like the most... Someone just asked me a question.
Me?
Was that you who asked me that about my top 3 values?
No. Carry on.
Okay. Someone just messaged me and asked me what... No, you know what it was?
What?
Someone asked on Instagram, they did a poll about what are your top 3 values. And I said empathy and like being willing to understand other people and being able to listen. Even if they don't have the same values as you, or maybe if you think what they're saying is completely crazy, if you reflect back and just think like, okay, like if I grew up in a different household, if I grew up with parents who were super helicopter parents and always on what I'm doing, then I would probably have a completely different perspective on life than what I have now. So I guess just being able to be empathetic and like see things from another perspective and like really just open your eyes and realize that your reality is not the same as everyone else's reality, or your experiences are not always like everyone else's. Even if it may seem like this person is the same as me and they came from the same kind of background, even siblings have totally different experiences. Like just when you're born and what ages you're going through certain things in life, like that can have a massive impact on who you are, especially like traumas and stuff. Like trauma happening in the first 5 years can literally change your brain structure and change who you are as a person. So if you have an older sibling who's 5 years older, then maybe it doesn't affect them in the same way that it affects you. So I think it's just important to always consider other people. I think I just messed something up.
Just plug it back in.
Okay, I'm good.
You can hear yourself now?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Shoot back. But yeah, empathy can just change your entire relationship with people that you meet, truly. So I think it's a really powerful value to have, because I'd rather hire someone who has a value system that reflects mine, where they really value understanding and caring about others, than someone who values like working hard. You know, I want someone who's going to be understanding with the parents that come in and the kids, than someone who's going to be like, no, you need to sit here and finish coloring because we value hard work here and it's important that you finish this drawing, or you finish this work, you started it, you need to finish it. Like, I'd rather you be like, oh, this kid doesn't want to do it anymore, let's move on.
I like that. It's a lot more patient.
Right. I mean, who couldn't use some more patience? And how do you get patience? You have to learn how to be patient.
It's fun.
Deal with it.
It sounds something so simple, but not everybody has a grasp of it.
No, definitely not. And no one's perfect. You know,
it's like
practice.
Common sense.
Like, yeah, it takes time, but you got to practice a little bit. That's why I'm here, because I'm going to change the world.
I mean, that's what I hope. That's what I hope people see from this podcast.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why I brought you on. Kind of speaking of the last question, this is our last question right here.
Okay.
What's a legacy that you want to leave behind?
I guess just that, like, I was always accepting of people and, like, cool with how they are and not trying to change anyone. But definitely, like, I feel like I'm a very open person. Like, I'm always willing to kind of share my own perspective on things. But I don't want anyone to ever feel like they can't, like, be themselves around me. Because I feel like I'm a very, like, I could truly be friends with anyone from any type of background. I mean, not that I'm a chameleon, because I feel like I don't try to fit in with other people. I just can be like, okay, you can always find things that you relate with someone, like anyone, even like the person that you hate the most. Like, you'll be able to find something in them that you are like, I resonate with that. And once you find that, you can kind of hone in on it. And that's where like the relationship builds. And like, that's where the empathy comes in. Like, you know, I don't like that you do this, but I also love to eat dinner at this restaurant. So you got something right. Like, we can connect in something.
You're okay in this regard.
Right.
I'll let you live.
I'll let you live for this. This is okay.
Excellent. And then you also mentioned how you want to start a daycare center?
Yeah, one day. I don't have any, like, real plans for it yet, but I tell Will all the time, like, the job that I'm in now, I'm able to see things from a different side, a side of, like, a business owner versus seeing things as a teacher. So it gives me a broad scope. And when I talk to people and they tell me why they got into the business, a lot of times they all say the same thing. Oh, I've loved kids. I've always wanted to like be a teacher. And that's kind of where I'm at. And like, I've always denied my love for wanting to be a teacher because I've never really thought that it was going to be something that I could make a career out of. Like, you know, you always hear, oh, teachers make no money and whatever. And so it steers you away from it. But childcare is so much different than teaching because it's not run by the government. It's privately owned.
Oh.
Yeah. So most of these centers are privately owned. Sometimes they, you know, like elementary schools will have like a little daycare center or VPK, whatever. But most of the places that I work with are private. And that's when I kind of realized, like, I think I kind of have like a thing for being an entrepreneur because, first of all, I love Shark Tank. Not that that makes anyone an entrepreneur, but I feel pretty prepared for it. The second thing is, ever since I've been a kid, I've always loved like starting businesses. The first thing I can think of is when I was in elementary school and I would collect cap erasers and I'd sell them for like 25 to 50 cents to kids. I'd carry around a pouch like this big.
Oh, wow. Look at you being a little hustler.
And I would literally collect cap erasers. I'd ask for them for Christmas, for my birthday, like packs of like 50 colored cap erasers, and I'd sell them to other kids. And then as I got older, I would make like t-shirts for like football games. And then I did like phone cases, and I've just done various like little projects, things like that. I also, one year when I was in middle school, I was in 8th grade, I took a psychology class, and my teacher, who is freaking awesome, she's on my Facebook too, she would have us do these online things, and you'd get like extra credit points if you did a certain amount of time on this online game to study. And I loved it. I loved psychology. So I was like, I don't mind doing it. And then I'd get like literally 100% on every single test. So kids in my class started being like, I'll do it. Like, I want you to do it for me for $5. I'm like, hell yeah. So people would just pay me $5 to do it. And my mom's like, I can't even be mad at her for doing this because she's studying. Like, that's genius.
Studying while making money.
Right. And then in college, I started selling my clothes online. So I would just like always be buying new clothes because I was always selling my old clothes. And like I'd go to Goodwill, and like being in a college area, people will just donate shit just to donate it. Mm-hmm. So there's like a lot of nice stuff in there. So I would do that for a little while. And then now I'm like, I know like what I'm doing now, there's a niche for it. And there's a need right now for someone who is passionate about the actual quality instead of just making money. Like, making money is great, and that's like something that follows when you have a high quality program.
Correct.
and we need it in Orlando. Like, and I'm not even saying that I would do it in Orlando because realistically I'll probably move back to Jacksonville at some point, and that would be a better place for me to do it because that's where I have like all my connections, you know, that's like where my roots are.
Oh, absolutely.
And like I said earlier, my mom was a daycare teacher, so if she ever wanted to jump in there with me. And then I have a friend who her sister wants to start a center. So I'm like, this is just like kind of all making sense to me. So yeah, that's like where I'm at with that. Like, it's just, I feel like I can do it right, and I can touch a lot of kids in a way that they may not have accessible to them before.
Got it.
Yeah. And that also just made me think of that part in School of Rock.
Yeah.
Did that make you think of it too?
You saw my face,
yeah,
right?
I saw you and I was like, yeah, I'm thinking it too. I've touched all your kids and I'm pretty sure they've all touched me. I was like, oh my God.
As Archie would say, phrasing.
I haven't seen that either.
Oh. That's all right.
I've seen like one episode, but
it's all right.
It was when I was in high school, so I don't really remember it.
You're good. So with that being said, we have come to that point in the episode where we do the wrap up, and Erin Murphy, Tillo, or
Tio.
Erin,
no, it's Tillo.
It's Tillo.
It is Tillo.
So anyway, Miss Murphy,
yes.
I just want to say you were a fantastic guest on the show. I had a lot of fun with you.
I appreciate that. You're a fantastic facilitator.
I appreciate that. I tried.
Earlier.
With your work with children of all sorts, especially one with very special needs, and the fact that you're willing to bridge the gap between adults and children in terms of communication, it's such a beautiful thing, and it's such a thing that's also so necessary.
Yeah.
But it's so underwhelmingly covered or spoken about.
Right.
But it's definitely needed. And then also just for being such a dope person
I appreciate it,
and
man.
loving the whole, your devotion. Listen, you don't have to be a super fan, but you do have a devotion.
I do. I'm loyal.
You are a very loyal fan to Kanye and the Jags. And, with being a Jags fan, it's already enough of a chore.
Right.
But
it's not easy.
It really isn't. But it's all three of those things that are the reasons why I believe you, Erin Murphy, have big DK energy.
Thank you so much, Danny. Seriously. And I appreciate you for having me on and thinking I'm cool, because this is like truly an honor. It really is. This feels like something that I've been waiting my whole life for. I'm not going to lie. When I was on my way here, I was like, this is going to go so good. We're literally going to be the next Frenemies podcast. But it's okay. You don't have to say it just to make me feel better. That was like me hyping myself up on the way here.
Yeah. Well,
I was like, we have that energy.
We do.
But we're not gossiping. We're just being wholesome.
Correct.
Wholesome AF.
That's what I love. I love wholesome content.
So sweet.
We need some more in this world.
I know. We're here. We're here, though. You're bringing it to the people. You're bringing it to the masses. This man is going to have a traveling podcast before you know it. So get on his email right now. I don't know what it is, but send him an email and let him know you want to be on his show.
Great.
That you have something to offer.
Yeah, that's right. Big DK Energy World Tour 2022.
Hell yeah.
All right. So anyway, Erin, I think we're just gonna wrap up here now.
All right.
I just want to say thanks again for coming along.
Thanks for having me, Danny.
Of course. And for everybody, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, the whole shebang-a-bang. And yeah, we'll go from there. And
All right.
as always, I'm Big DK. See you next time.